From beautiful Key West, Florida, Freeze Frame Video is proud to present the 1992 Budweiser Key West World Championship. Hello again, everyone. Shelly Kahn speaking to you on behalf of Jeff Girardi and the entire Freeze Frame Sports video production staff, welcoming you to Key West once again. Key West, Florida, the site of so many world championships. It's the southernmost city in the continental United States, and we're just thrilled to be here once again. There's been such great races in history made here in Key West that it's good to be back once again for the World Championships, and it's very unique. We've got three categories, basically three groups that are going to be crowning world champions here. We've got the Superboat. All coming out nicely. Good start, very clean start. I've got How Sweet It Is on the inside. On the outside of him, it's Whiplash. As I look back, I see Patriot in the middle of the picture. Then I see Great Adventure, and on the outside of Great Adventure, it's Thin Ice. Okay, and we're going to go right now with this first boat, CS39, How Sweet It Is race team. This 24-foot red skater is powered by two 260 horsepower Mercury outboard motors. This boat is owned by Carl Myers of Canada's, New York. Driving today is Darren LaChance from Springfield, New York, and on throttles it's George Peterson from Belmar, New York. How sweet it is. What a year it's been for them. There, as you look back on the pack, Patriot, Thin Ice, and Great Adventure is right there. On the outside we've got Whiplash, but on the inside right here, it's Darren LaChance and George Peterson and Carl Myers. How Sweet It Is race boat. This boat has had a very good year. 1992 has been very sweet to How Sweet It Is. Their first overall points leader in U.S. Offshore in stock class. So it's been a great year. There you see Patriot coming up to join this pack of boats. That's Great Adventure with the Gazelles aboard, and Whiplash is out front right there, but we're still staying with How Sweet It Is. How Sweet It Is had a great year. In Norfolk, Virginia, they took a first place. Sarasota, Florida, they had a first place. Point Pleasant, a first place. Kent Narrows, Maryland, a first place. Kent Narrows, Maryland, a first place again. Barnegat Bay, a third place. Ocean City, Maryland, a fourth place. Point Pleasant, New Jersey, a fourth place. And in New York City, they took a second place. Add it all up, they're your first place overall points leader in U.S. Offshore in stock class. And we certainly wish them all the best here today in Key West in the World Championships. From Key West, Florida, It's Carl Meyer's boat, driven by Darrell LaChancha and George Peterson of the How Sweet It Is race team. We wish them all the best. Now, as we see up ahead, we've got a battle going right now. It's got Great Adventure on the inside in the Cobra boat, with Whiplash on the outside in the Skater. We're going to get right up to this and really get an up-close look at a battle going at it at high speeds right here in the open seas off Key West. Now that we get up to join the action, you really see what's going on. On the outside, it's S2, the Whiplash race team. It's a 28 Skater powered by two 260 horsepower Mercury outboard motors. This boat is owned and driven by Stephen Thiel, and Terry Ayers is on throttles. And on the inside, we've got Great Adventure. This is a 30-foot Cobra powered by two 250 horsepower Mercury outboard motors. This boat is owned and throttled by Phil Gazelle, and Warren Gazelle is your driver. And there's the battle going on right now. It's a classic battle, I might add. Great Adventure on the inside, that brand new 30-foot Cobra hull, and on the outside, it's the proven Skater Catamaran. Two tremendous competitors going at it. Thiel and Ayers aboard Whiplash have had a good year, and they're tremendous competitors. But so are the Gazelles, experienced racers of so many veterans of so many offshore racing campaigns in the Great Adventure race team, and we've got a battle going on between these two boats. The Cobra Marine, the 30-foot Terminator, is currently in first place and enjoying a very good run. It's been an outstanding year that they have had, led by Bill and Warren Gazelle from Brick, New Jersey. This team is in a brand new Cobra hull and has had first and second place finishes all year long, winning the Northeast Division, and is now in strong contention for the World Championships. These Cobras are built in southern New Jersey, and Cobra offers a full line of pleasure as well as race boats. Unbelievably, this is Cobra's first year really on the boat scene, and they're doing an excellent job. It's their first year out here racing, and the Gazelles have really proven that the Cobra hull is one to be reckoned with and a proven winner. Unofficially, Great Adventure in first place right now in Superstock. Back to S2, the Whiplash race team, currently running in second place in Superstock. The 28-foot Skater powered by two 2.5 Mercury outboard motors. Boat owned and driven by Stephen Thiel of Manchester, Connecticut, and from St. Charles, Michigan, it's Terry Ayers on throttles. What a year it's been for the Whiplash race team. It's been outstanding, actually. They're 1992 National High Points champion, 1992 Superstock National Champion, 1992 Rookie of the Year. They've had the fastest lap speed record of 102.78 miles per hour, fastest race average record of 92.20 miles per hour, and this boat is rigged and maintained by Ocean Outboard and the Whiplash crew. It's been a great year for them, and we certainly wish them all the best here in the World Championship. Ayers doing a fantastic job of throttling the Whiplash boat as it propels itself through this choppy water along this portion of the race course. I guarantee a battle in this. All boats are tough. Patriot, Thin Ice, Ragamuffin, How Sweet It Is, Great Adventure, Whiplash. This Superstock class is really going to be a fine battle as we try to get it down to crowning world champions on Saturday's final race. But this skater's doing an outstanding job of going through this rough seas right now. Boat's dialed in quite nicely and really making good speed considering how rough the conditions are. This 28-foot Skater Catamaran is really doing the job necessary. From Key West, Florida, it's Steve Thiel and Terry Ayers in the Whiplash race team. Once again, the Gazelles are doing an outstanding job in the Great Adventure Race Team. The 2.5 Mercuries are doing their job, and this Cobra Racing hull is really standing up to the paces that the Gazelles are putting it through. From Key West, Florida, it's Bill and Warren Gazelles, Great Adventure Race Team. There you saw quite a jump there, and Bill Gazelle doing a great job, as he always does, of throttling the Great Adventure Race Team through this choppy water. As we look back on the field, some of the sport boats are starting to catch up to the Super Stop. And here's your first sport boat really starting to join the hunt in the lead group of boats. This is B1, the Heartbeat Race Team. This 33-foot black fountain with a red paint job is powered by two 550 horsepower Troy Dennis inboard motors with Mercruiser outdrives. This boat is owned by Art Lilly of Millersville, Maryland. Driving today is Alan Borum from West River, Maryland, and throttling is Art Lilly from Millersville, Maryland. 1992 has been very good to the Heartbeat Race Team. They're fourth in the Northeast standings, fourth in the national standings in U.S. Offshore, first in national APBA, first in Northeast APBA, second in Southeast APBA. And right there you see Buckshot coming into the picture and joining the hunt. But Heartbeat had an excellent campaign, as we said. And there you see Heartbeat on the outside and Buckshot coming up on the inside. But Heartbeat just last week in Cape Coral, Florida, they had a first place in the final leg on Saturday, thus giving them a fifth place finish in the World Championships in the APBA. And here they are now, out with a passion and really looking strong in the B division here in sport class. But he's in a battle right now with Buckshot. This is your first and second place boats going right at it. Art Lilly would like to give a very special thanks to Troy Dennis and Indian Landing Marina and Chevrolet Truck Division in Wayne Signs of Grand Rapids, Michigan. So this is the battle that we'll be looking at today as well as Saturday. You've got Art Lilly's Heartbeat on the outside, Buckshot on the inside. And what a ride Buckshot is having. They're first in the Northeast in national points for 1992. Buckshot B30, it's a 33-foot Sutphen powered by two 525 horsepower Pro Marine engines with Pro Marine drives. This boat is owned and driven by Ed Clark of Fairfield, New Jersey. On throttles is Doug Lewis from Brick, New Jersey. And navigating is Ralph Papke from Brick, New Jersey, the Buckshot Race Team. They would like to thank their sponsors, Clark Cooling Incorporated and Pro Marine Racing. We've got a battle going on between these two boats in Sport Division. Already this year, they had a fifth in Norfolk, a second in Newburyport, a first in Point Pleasant, a second in Montauk, a second in Barnegat Bay, and a first in Detroit, the Buckshot Race Team. Now it's back to Art Lilly's Heartbeat Race Team. And I would also like to extend a very special thanks to Child Help USA and all the care that they provide for the children in the USA. Both these teams have had a very successful 1992 campaign. Ed Clark has driven a great race in the Buckshot Race Team, and Doug Lewis has really done the job on throttles for Buckshot. But Art Lilly and his crew have really been outstanding throughout the year. And then you see them coming to the checkpoint. Art Lilly on the inside, Buckshot on the outside. And there you see Art Lilly and Alan Borum taking a slight lead over Buckshot at this juncture in the race course. Those fans were treated to some excellent racing. You see all the checkered flags on the side of the Heartbeat race boat. Art Lilly was very disappointed with the first leg of the World Championships at Cape Coral, Florida. He took a first place, as we said, on Saturday, and he really wants to make up and have a strong showing in the World Championships here in Key West. And Lilly and his crew are going all out. But Buckshot, not to be denied, has also had a good year, and they're a very competitive bunch. Ed Clark, Doug Lewis, Ralph Papke of the Buckshot Race Team are up to the challenge that Art Lilly and Alan Borum in the Heartbeat Race Team are putting up right now. And there you see the distance between your first and second place boat. This is part of the race course where they start coming into Key West, and the fans are treated to some great racing up close. Presently in third place right now in the sport division, it's B74, Speed by Design. There you see him as he's heading toward the harbor in Key West. Speed by Design, it's a 32-foot hustler powered by two 500-horsepower Mercury inboard motors with Mercruiser outdrives. This boat is owned by Design Masonry of Canyon County, California. Driving today is Randy Carpenter from Canyon County, California. Mike Fiore from Hampton Bays, New York is on throttles. And Glenn Williams from Pompano Beach, Florida is your navigator. Speed by Design is sponsored by Admiration Foods and American Capital Resources. Admiration Foods is their main sponsor, with American Capital Resources their secondary sponsor. And they've been very grateful and appreciative of the help that Admiration Foods as well as American Capital Resources has provided them, because without them, Speed by Design would not be where they are today. They've had a good campaign racing predominantly out on the West Coast, but they're really looking for a good showing here today. And so far they're getting it. The competition is tough in sport, as you've already seen with Heartbeat and Buckshot, but presently they are running in third place. There you see them, Speed by Design with Admiration Foods heading them up. Mike Fiore is doing a great job of throttling the Speed by Design Hustler racing boat. Admiration Foods, Speed by Design. We wish them all the best, not only today, but in Saturday's race as well, here in Key West, Florida. Competition is going to be very fierce in sport class, but in terms of these racing conditions, this Hustler Racing hull is certainly taking these rough seas exceptionally well, as you see right there. This boat is looking very strong right now and running exceptionally well in these rough seas. Now we come up on B96, the Parts Plus race team. This 33-foot fountain is powered by two 420-horsepower Mercury inboard motors with Mercruiser outdrives. This boat is owned and driven by Jeff Halen of Coldwater, Michigan, and Brad Myers from Elkhart, Indiana, is on throttles. Halen and Myers making up the Parts Plus race team. They're fourth in Pro 2 B-Class in OPT for 1992. And they would like to extend a very special thanks to all their sponsors. Parts Plus Auto Stores, National Car Rental, Pepsi, Miller, Genuine Draft, Halen Signs, Myers Super Value, Melling Automotive Products, Performance Automotive, Holenbeck Construction, Kentron Industries, Rapid Marine Repair. Parts Plus put on a fine show at the World Championships in Cape Coral just last week, And now they've come down here to Key West to continue that performance that they've been doing. They're running in the top 5 boats right now in sport class. The competition is tough, but Parts Plus is really doing a good job. Brad Myers doing a fantastic job of throttling the Parts Plus race boat through these rough seas. From Key West, Florida, it's Jeff Haylett and Brad Myers and the Parts Plus race team. Flying with freeze frame today is Deb Haylett, Jeff Haylett's wife, who's come aboard today, and right now she's getting a bird's eye view right up close of her husband along with Brad Myers as they propel the Parts Plus racing boat into a top 3 competition, hopefully, in sport class. Right now, they are in the top 5, but they're looking to close that out now and have at least a top 3 finish here today and get some good points going into Saturday. From Key West, Florida, it's Jeff Haylett and Brad Myers, Parts Plus race team. Now we come up on B61, the Power Play race team. This 33-foot Power Play is powered by 2 575 horsepower Power Play inboard motors with Merc Cruiser outdrives. This boat is owned by Power Play Marine Incorporated of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Throttling is Dan Weinstein of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and Richard Pingree from Shelton, South Carolina is your driver. The Power Play race team. It's a good-looking boat with a real attractive paint job, and they're looking very good right now in this 33-foot Power Play. 92, they had a 4th in Armorada, 3rd at Cape Coral in race 1, 2nd in Cape Coral race 2, and they were 2nd in the B division in the APBA's World Cup Championships just held last week in Cape Coral, Florida. So with that, they've come down here, and hopefully they'd like to build on that and perhaps get another top 3 finish in the World Championships here in Key West. And we certainly wish Weinstein and Pingree all the best. Once again, the competition is going to be tough in Sport Division, but Power Play coming off that good finish that they had in Cape Coral, Florida. Ooh, there was a jump right there. But Weinstein right back on the throttles and keeps Power Play going quite nicely. They will be up to the challenge, and we expect to see them right in that lead group of boats in sport class. From Key West, Florida, it's Dan Weinstein's Power Play Marine. power play sounds very strong right now. We wish them all the best. Now we come up on A12, the MRD race team. This 30-foot yellow superboat is powered by two 385 horsepower MRD inboard motors with Mercruiser outrides. This boat is owned and throttled by RC of West Islip, New York. Jack McKay from Bayshore, New York is driving, and Steve Abbott from West Islip, New York is navigating. The MRD race team, they're the 1992 Northeast National Champion, and it's been a great year for MRD. What credentials behind this boat? 1989, 90, 91, and 92 Northeast Divisional Champ, 89, 90, 91 North American Champ, 1991 Florida's Governor Cup Champ, and 1992 National Champ. RC would like to give a very special thanks to his crew chief, Rich Silvestri, who maintains and makes sure that the boat is always race ready. And a very special thanks to the boys at MRD, Bob Skip and Jimmy Mack, for all their support. Also, Matt Koenig from the Amsoil Group for always being there when needed. And a very special thanks to Jim Lausnowski and Gary and crew from the Extractor team for their help in Key West. And a very special thanks to his daughter Melissa for her hard work and dedication. RC would also like to thank his sponsors, MRD, Marine Research and Development, Freeze Frame Video, headed up by Jeff Girardi, Amsoil, headed up by Matt Koenig, and Alpine Karting, headed up by Tommy Masada. And MRD is unofficially running in first place right now and looking very strong. He's had a great year, and he seems to have picked up right where he's left off. And he's presently running in first place in the production class. From Key West, Florida, it's RC's MRD Special Race Team. Now we come up on S101, the Ragamuffin Race Team. This blue 24-foot skater is powered by two 270 horsepower Mercury outboard motors. This boat is owned and throttled by Rick Ford of West Coquina, California, and Paul Whittier from Sultan, Washington is your driver. The Ragamuffin Race Team. This boat is sponsored by Precision Silicones and Archer Marine. They're the 1991 POB RA Class Champs and your 1992 West Coast Divisional High Point Champ. So I'd like to thank their crew members, Tom Stagliano, Jackie Jenkins, Teresa Babbage, and Carrie Workman. Jackie Jenkins is a full-time mechanic for DRS Racing, and she does quite a bit of work on the engines on the Ragamuffin Race Team. Ragamuffin Race Team just recently last week came up with a combined 5th place finish overall in the World Championships for APBA. There's a well-traveled team. They come all the way from California, travel across the country, and they position themselves now in the Southeast for this week of, actually these several weeks, of World Championship offshore racing. Ford and Whittier are locked in quite a battle in super stock. You've already seen Great Adventure, how sweet it is, Whiplash, all going at it, but Ragamuffin, Thin Ice, Patriot, Phantom going neck and neck. So they're right there in that lead group of boats in the super stock class right here. So we wish Rick Ford and Paul Whittier all the best in the Ragamuffin Race Team in Key West, Florida. Ragamuffin is looking very good at this point in the race. A well-traveled boat, got a lot of miles on this boat throughout these series of World Championships, but it certainly seems to be rising to the test, and they look to be in a very competitive boat. Now we come up on A4, the Empty Pockets race team. Empty Pockets is a 1990 28-foot signature powered by twin 400 horsepower Mercruiser engines with Bravo outdrive. This boat is owned by Brooke Dyer from Millersville, Maryland, and Ken Urban and Glenn Burney from Maryland. Brooke is the driver and Ken handles the throttle. John Wilmoth from Middle River, Maryland is the navigator, and Chips Rogers from Pasadena, Maryland is the crew chief. In 1990, which was their first season, they took 2 first-place finishes, along with 3 seconds and a third, in 6 races that they entered. In 1991, they finished second at the National Championships and second in Northeast Divisional High Points for the season. Plagued by mechanical tremblings during 1992, Empty Pockets still managed to place in every race they finished. The Empty Pockets race team would like to thank their sponsors for helping to make this a very successful racing team. Korea Marine Instruments, Northwood Contractors, Wolverine Blue Racer, Quality Service Station Maintenance, and Aqua Power Marine Products. They would also like to extend a very special thanks to Zach's Automotive and Marine, JB Automotive and Marine, Tri-State Steel Erectors, Lily Sports Boats, Alcade, Paul Sign Company, Wagner Sons Restaurant Supply, and to Chris, Kim, Brenda, and Joanne for all of their support. And that's what makes up the Empty Pockets race team. Empty Pockets is running to the main group of boats right now in production class. A lot of good boats entered here in production, so the competition is tough, but Empty Pockets really seems to be up for it because they are running with some of the lead group of boats right now in the production class. From Key West, Florida, it's Brooke Dyer's Empty Pockets race team. Now you get a good overhead shot of the crew of Empty Pockets. The Empty Pockets race team is enjoying a very good ride in these rough water conditions. Now we come up on A90, the runaway race team. This 28-foot Magnum is powered by 2 260 horsepower Murphy inboard motors with Mercruiser outdrive. This boat is driven by Chuck Burke of Brick, New Jersey. Navigating is Dave Fox from Cedar Run, New Jersey, and your owner throttle is Martin Baldwin from Fork River, New Jersey. The runaway race team, they're looking very good at this point in time in the race. P2, they had a third in Point Pleasant, 6th in Ocean City, first at the Sunoco Shootout in Point Pleasant, 6th in New York City. They're 5th in the Northeast point standings and 2nd in the national point standings for U.S. Offshore. So they'd really like to have a good showing here today in the World Champions. And they're presently having a very good run right now. Unofficially, they're in first place, holding off the Patels in Fountain Racing Team and Crazy Rhythm. We've got a good battle going on between these two boats right now. The runaway race team would like to thank their sponsors: Fiberglass Services, Boat Repairs and Custom Works, and Bay Island Marina and Bayview Yacht Basin. Highlights for 1992 season was that first place in Point Pleasant in the national race and second place nationally in the U.S. Offshore points. For 1993 season, they have no plans at the present time to race. They need sponsorship, and it's very critical. So anyone looking to get aboard a winning team and have your product out there in the public eye in offshore powerboat racing, whether it be through APBA, US Offshore, or many of the other divisions that they'll be running in 1993, please contact Martin Baldwin of Fork River, New Jersey, and get involved with a runaway race team. From Key West, Florida, it's Martin Baldwin's Runaway Race Team. Runaway Race Team is looking very good right now. They're going to be tough to catch, and we'll just have to wait and see how things go during the course of the day. But right now, the Runaway Race Team is looking good. But if anyone can catch him, here's one of the boats who is in a battle with Runaways. A176. This is the Fountain Racing Team. This 29-foot fountain is powered by a single 650 horsepower Troy Dennis inboard motor with a Merc Cruiser No. 5 Speedmaster outdrive. This boat is owned and driven by Patrick Patel of Brick, New Jersey. Patrick also does the throttling, and Tina Patel, his wife, does the navigating from Brick, New Jersey. There's a husband-wife team, Patrick and Tina Patel, making up the Fountain Race Team. And what a year they've had in 1992. Everything is combined has given them a second in the national standings, as well as a second in the Southeast standings, and a third in the Gold Cup standings. And last week in Cape Coral, Florida, they came in second in the APBA's World Championship. It's just been a fantastic year for the Patels. They would like to give a very special thanks to Troy Dennis and his crew at Dennis Performance for their tireless efforts and meticulous engineering, as well as B&M Marine Performance Products, especially Bob Benders for his devotion to making their marine products and our racing season a success. Wayne Mecker, the sign man of motor racing and owner of Wayne Signs in Wyoming, Michigan, is applying numerous decals. Reggie Fountain of the Fountain Powerboat Race Crew, and their never-ending energy and generosity, and their ability to put it all together for the Patels to win time in and time out. Prior to the Cape Coral World Championships, the 1992 APBA campaign consisted of 7 first-place finishes out of 10, 5 being consecutive wins. They have also placed second twice and have a third-place finish to their credit. This is the first full year of racing for this team. Last year, the boat was fresh out of the mold when they ran a few experimental races and still took home trophies. This year, with several modifications, the motor hull, drive, and prop combination has come together for a certain victorious season. All in all, this 1992 race season has been a winning one and has supplied the Fountain Race Team with 16 trophies and several checkered flags. So it's been a great 1992 campaign for the Patels and the Fountain Race Team. But they'd really like to have a good finish here, missing the World Championships by 1 point in the APBA. They'd really like to have a good finish here as well as a good finish Saturday, and perhaps wind up with a World Championship in class here in Key West. And we certainly wish them all the best. We've enjoyed covering them throughout 1992, and we look forward to being with them throughout 1993. From Key West, Florida, it's Patrick and Tina Patel from the Fountain Race Team. S1, the Patriot Race Team. This 24-foot skater is powered by two 295 horsepower Mercury outboard motors. This boat is owned and throttled by Bob Hamlin from Davidson, North Carolina, and Lisa Grieger from Orland, Florida is your driver today. So Grieger and Hamlin making up the Patriot Race Team. They ran last week in Cape Coral, Florida in the World Championships. They did not finish in the top 3 there, but they were respectable there, and they had a pretty good week of racing. But now they'd like to come out and really improve upon that here in Key West. And they're running with Phantom and Thin Ice and Ragamuffin, who you've already seen. There you see the Patriot crew getting a little loose. Grieger and Hamlin getting a little loose, but keeping it together nonetheless. We've really enjoyed covering them throughout the 1992 campaign. This is their 21st race of the year, and they've been a hard-working boat. That's CF Express on the far outside. And they would like to extend a very special thanks to their sponsors, Environmental Source Samples and Horsepower Unlimited Marine Service, located in Huntersville, North Carolina. And that's Thin Ice on the outside coming up, heading towards the Patriot race team. And there you see Thin Ice in the background. Krieger and Hamlin heading into Key West proper right now in the Patriot race team. It's been a long year for them. This is the 21st race, as we said, and they've pretty much been everywhere. And we at Freestream have really enjoyed covering the Patriot race team throughout 1992, and we're certainly looking forward to covering them for another 20 races in 1993. From Key West, Florida, it's Bob Hamlin's Patriot race team with Lisa Krieger driving today. So Thin Ice is coming up on Patriot exceptionally strong. This is for position right now in class. Patriot on the outside, Thin Ice going all out on the inside. There you see them starting to make their move and come up, closing the gap between themselves and Patriot. There you see Key West. So it's a very crowded place right now. A lot of spectators have been lining the streets and piers of Key West to watch this. And you see the gap has closed considerably between Thin Ice on the outside and Patriot on the inside. And right there you see the move. Thin Ice has gone by Patriot on the outside as they rounded that checkpoint. There you see them coming down basically even right now. Thin Ice on the outside, Patriot on the inside. Patriot gets it back as they rounded that checkpoint. So this battle for position is going back and forth between the two competitors. S12, the Thin Ice race team. This 24-foot skater is powered by two 200-horsepower Mercury outboard motors. This boat is owned and throttled by Steve Skorupski of Fort Myers, Florida, and William Durham from Mullica Hill, New York, is your driver. So Durham and Skorupski making up the Thin Ice race team. They're 4th place national in the APBA, 4th in the Southeast, AP, and Northeast, 6th national in U.S. Offshore, but they recently had a 1st place in Isle Morada. And in the World Championships last week, recently completed in Cape Coral, Florida, they took a 2nd place in stock class. So they've had a good week of racing last week, and those were the final results in the World Championships for the APBA. So they're coming down here with confidence built up from that week of racing in Cape Coral, Florida, and they'd really like to have a good run here today, but they're just locked in that battle with Patriot and Ragamuffin right now. From Key West, Florida, it's Steve Skorupski's Thin Ice race team. And Freestream Video would like to extend a very special thanks to the Thin Ice race team for once again transporting the video equipment from Cape Coral, Florida down to Key West, Florida. So we certainly hope that they could have a good finish here today in Key West and build on that 2nd overall World Championship finish that they had last week in Cape Coral. From Key West, Florida, it's Steve Skorupski's Thin Ice race team. Coming up on B50, the CF Express race team. This 33-foot red fountain is powered by two 550 Chevy inboard motors with Merc Cruiser outdrives. This boat is owned by Mark Franz. Driving today is Nigel Hook from Del Mar, California. Craig Archer from Del Mar, California is on throttles. And Bert Meyer from Vincetown, New Jersey is your navigator. The CF Express race team. And then that's Feelin' Wet on the outside, being passed by CF Express. CF Express is locked in a pretty good battle right now. They're running basically in the top 5 finishers in sport division, and they're looking pretty good at this point in the race to get us some good points going into Saturday. This boat is sponsored by Chevrolet, Craft Motors, Archer Marine, the Upper Deck Company, the Canary Restaurant. And they've had a very good racing history behind them. In 1990, they're the USA APBA Triple Crown champions, USA APBA Gold Cup Series champion, and the USA APBA Offshore Rookie of the Year. In 1990, they raised $175,000 for Child Health USA with a world record attempt called Assault on the Great Lakes. This was a race from Chicago's Navy Pier to Detroit, 605 miles, with Mark hitting pledges per mile. In 1991, the boat won the USA APBA National Championship. In 1992, the CF Express team has compiled a very impressive record in the offshore circuit. First place in Ventura, California. Second place, Marina del Rey. First place, Long Beach. First place, San Francisco. First place, Lake Mead. So good, in fact, they're the 1992 APBA Western Divisional Champion. And the CF Express race team raises money for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, and already in 1992, they have raised more than $60,000. So there you have it. They're a very generous race team and a very good competitive race team, owned by Mark Franz. The crew has just done a fantastic job. Nigel Hook, Craig Archer, Bert Moyer have really done the job for the CF Express offshore racing team, and we look forward to seeing them throughout the World Championships here in Key West and through 1993. From Key West, Florida, it's the CF Express race team. And they are locked in a battle right now with IROC, Parts Plus, Speed by Design, and they're looking very good to try to build some points in sport class leading up to Saturday's finale. From Key West, Florida, it's CF Express. The CF Express race team is looking very good. There you get a good overhead shot of the race crew, and right there the Upper Deck logo, who is one of their sponsors, CF Express. A10, the Crazy Rhythm race team, and they're looking very good right now in the production class. They're in the top 3 boats right now. Crazy Rhythm, it's a 28-foot Magnum with twin 425 horsepower small block engines. This boat is sponsored by Tanglewood Performance. On the outside, that's Art Lily's heartbeat going by. This boat is sponsored by Tanglewood Performance, Race Boat Brokers of St. Charles, Illinois. Tanglewood Performance Brokers specialize in brokering all classes of offshore race boats. Additional sponsors are Blackhawk Marine, Engine Builders of Mount Clemens, Michigan, and Matrodine of New Baltimore, Michigan. This boat is owned by Joe and Lori Turek of St. Charles, Illinois. Driving is Joey Turek of St. Charles, Illinois. Navigator is Mike Hendrickson of St. Charles, Illinois. Throttles is Steve Fussell of New Baltimore, Michigan, who is substituting for Dave Belkosen for this race. And Public Relations is Linda Hendrickson of St. Charles, Illinois. Crazy Rhythm's 1992 achievements include becoming the United States Offshore Central Region High Points Champion in Production A Class. So it's been a very good year for the Crazy Rhythm race team, and they're looking very good here today. Top 3 finish will certainly put them in a good finish for Saturday's finale. From Key West, Florida, it's the Crazy Rhythm race team. Big jump right there for Crazy Rhythm. Course again. No problem for the Crazy Rhythm race team. They're definitely trying to close the gap between themselves and the Patels in the Fountain race team, and everyone's having a little bit of trouble catching Runaway race team, who basically right now is running away with the production class. But a lot of racing yet to go. We'll just have to see how things shake out. From Key West, Florida, it's A10, the Crazy Rhythm Race Team. There you see Buckshot going by in the outside. Earlier on, we saw Art Lilly going by in Heartbeat, and here comes Buckshot. So that's the distance basically between first and second place in Sport Class. Let's look over the rest of the field. In Super Stock, the Gazelles in Great Adventure and Carl Meyer's Boat, How Sweet It Is, and Whiplash are all going at it 1, 2, 3 in Super Stock. Right now we're coming up on an F boat, F69, the Feeling Wet Waste Team. This 21-foot Sutphin is powered by a single 2.4 Mercury EFI outboard motor. This boat is owned by, and throttled and driven by Brian Riccio of Point Pleasant, New Jersey, and Gary Riccio from Point Pleasant, New Jersey is your navigator. The Feeling Wet Race Team. They're unofficially running in 4th place right now and trying to close the gap between themselves and Spoiled Banana, who is in 3rd place in the factory class. They had a 6th at Barnegat Bay, a 3rd in the Sunoco Shootout, and a 2nd in New York City, 7th in the Northeast standings in U.S. Offshore, and they are 5th nationally. So they'd really like to have a good show here today, build some points, and bring it all into Saturday's finale for the World Championships in the factory class. We've already told you about the Super Stock class, and we've told you about the Sports class with Heartbeat and Buckshot, and Parts Plus and CF Express are also there with IROC. In production, Runaway having a good run, holding off Fountain, Crazy Rhythm, Wide Open, and Dirty Dancer. And in the production class, that rounds out that group. Factory, we've just seen, it's gone bananas. Thoroughbred Powerboat, Spoiled Banana, and Feeling Wet right here, trying to close the gap between himself and some of the other lead group of boats in that pack. Rough seas right there, but nonetheless, Feeling Wet's doing a fantastic job in this 21-foot Sutphin. Brian and Gary Ricchio's Feeling Wet Race Team. Running in the top 5 spots right now in the sport division. It's B888, the IROC race team. This 30-foot Velocity is powered by two 550 horsepower Mercury inboard motors with Mercruiser outdrive. This boat is owned by IROC Offshore Racing of Binghamton, New York. Driving today is Dr. Richard G. Hobart of Binghamton, New York. On throttles is James Hobart of Johnson City, New York. And on your navigator is John Hagapian of Binghamton, New York. Interesting name, the IROC race team. Dr. Richard Hobart being a very prominent optometrist in the Binghamton, New York area, and his son, James Hobart, is president of Hobart Stone. And that's where you get the eyes on the rocks, thus making the IROC race team. That was Feeling Wet, just being passed by the IROC race team. 92 has been very good to the IROC race team. So good, in fact, that they are 3rd in the national points. And with that, they're very proud of that accomplishment for 1992. And I'd like to come down here and try to make a good showing here in the 1992 World Championships. IROC took their first checkered flag in 1992 at Kent Narrows, and they're very ecstatic about their third place finish in the national point standing. They would like to extend a very special thanks to their crew of John Hogapane and Margie Hobart. The IROC race team. Perhaps they get a good finish here today, finish in that top 5 group, which would be fine in the sport division, being that that is the biggest division, and take those points from today, bring it down for Saturday's finale, and who knows, there could be a world champion right here amongst Richard Hobart, James Hobart, and John Hogapane of the IROC race team. We wish Dr. Richard G. Hobart and the entire IROC Offshore racing team all the best here today in Key West, Florida, as well as the finale for Saturday, thus crowning the world champions for 1992. From Key West, Florida, it's Richard Hobart's IROC race team. IROC is looking very good as it comes into Mallory Square, where so many thousands of spectators are lining the piers and streets of Key West, right in front of the pier house, going to Mallory Square. This is a great sight, not only for the races, but also the spectators, because it's flat water right here, and they really get to put on a show, waving to the fans who are supporting the IROC race team right there as they go past the pier house and Mallory Square. The IROC race team having a very good run at this point in the race, and we wish them all the best for the remainder of today's race. The IROC race team going through Mallory Square. Now we come up on A9, the hard-charging, wide-open race team. This 27-foot Cobra is powered by a single 650 horsepower Chevy engine with a Merc Cruiser outright. This boat is owned by Wide Open Race Team Incorporated. Driving today is Gary Reben from Lavallette, New Jersey, and he's taking the place of Mike Scarpizzi, who's normally the driver. Gary is the owner of Rogers Speed Shop in Garwood, New Jersey. And your owner, who's also on throttle, is Mark Pica from Jersey City, New Jersey. Wide Open race team right now is in the middle of the pack, running with Crazy Rhythm, holding off Dirty Dancer, and trying to close the gap between himself and Crazy Rhythm. Just not much. There's a very short distance separating these two boats. The major sponsor who has helped with the Wide Open race team, who has helped send them to the World Championships, is JC Auto and Truck Parts from Jersey City, New Jersey. The boat is also sponsored by Pica's Automotive Service of Jersey City, New Jersey. And they're very appreciative for all the support that JC Auto and Truck Parts from Jersey City, New Jersey has provided the Wide Open race team. Some of their 1992 accomplishments are first place in Ocean City, Maryland, second place in Kent Narrows, Maryland, and a fourth place in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. Wide Open ended its 1992 rookie season with a third place in the Northeast Points, third place National Points, third place North American Points. And Wide Open race team would like to thank Mike and Joanne Walt of JC Auto Parts, Jimmy Patty, and crew members Tommy Durack, Tony Cancro, and Vinny Delisi for their help and support at the World Championships. Mark would also like to thank his wife Gina for her support throughout the entire 1992 race campaign. There you have it, the whole crew from the Wide Open race team headed up by Gary Reben and Mark Pica of Jersey City, New Jersey. A9, the Wide Open race team, and we wish them all the best here today in the World Championships in Key West. There you see a battle going on heading into Mallory Square. George Peterson, How Sweet It Is holding off Ragamuffin, who's right behind him. And on the inside of this whole thing, it's A54, the Dirty Dancer. But on the outside, that's How Sweet It Is going by with Ragamuffin trailing him. That's quite a battle being waged right now in the Superstock class. How Sweet It Is holding off Ragamuffin, you see right there, and that's a battle going right to the wire. And we are getting to the closing stages of the race, so everyone's going all out for the valuable points for place in Thursday's race here today. But right now, let's stay with 854, Dirty Dancer. This is a 25-foot Checkmate Convincer built by Checkmate Boats of Bickers, Ohio. It is powered by a single 470 cubic inch 600 horsepower Chevrolet engine built by Farmer Automotive and Marine of Webster, New York. This boat is driven by Bob Nothnagel, who also owns a boat, from Irondequoit, New York. Throttle man is Tom Judd from Rochester, New York, and the supporting crew is Lynn Allen from Irondequoit, New York, and Dee Goldstein from Rochester, New York. The dyno services and technical support are provided by Ontario Offshore Performance Specialists, also of Webster, New York. With its full-service marina operation, Sutter South Bay Marina continues to be home base for the Dirty Dancer race team. Spinelli Brothers of Rochester, New York provides the propeller services, while the multicolored graphics were designed by the Scenery and South Shore printers. 1992 season performance for the Dirty Dancer race team. Newburyport, they finished 7th after dropping out of the race with engine problems. Point Pleasant, a disappointing 6th place, but Kent Narrows, Maryland, they get on track with a 1st place finish, first of the 92 season. Barnegat Bay, a 3rd place. Ocean City, Maryland, a 3rd place. Point Pleasant, 10th place after being forced out with an electrical fire. Thus giving them a 5th place in the Northeast Regional Points class for 1992. And they're actually quite pleased with that, and they hope to build on that for 1993. The members of Dirty Dancer Race Team would like to thank all those individuals involved in making this 1992 season a success, and we at Freeze Frame have really enjoyed covering them throughout the 92 campaign, and we look forward to being with them throughout 1993. Bob Nothnagel and Tom Judd and the Dirty Dancer Race Team. Running with a group of boats of Wide Open and USI Special. The Dirty Dancer Race Team from Key West, Florida. Now we're coming up to B7, the Bad to the Bone race team. Here we have Bad to the Bone, What a Fillin' race team with driver Dr. Scott Brown from Knoxville, Tennessee, and throttle man Dr. Sam Jurek from Cabot, Arkansas, and navigator John Testament, also from Knoxville, Tennessee. This team has put on a very impressive showing here in their first appearance in the World Championships. The boat is a 28-foot Sonic, which is powered by two 365 horsepower Mercury inboard motors and Mercury outdrives. Sonic boats are known for their endurance and ability to handle rough seas, and this boat is certainly being put through the test here today. This team is currently sponsored by Brown Chiropractic, Oneida Chiropractic, What a Fillin' Racing, Testament Construction, Lake Flight Marine, and Sonic Boats. This will be a team to watch here in the 1992 World Championships, as well as an up-and-coming team to watch for 1993. We really look forward to covering Dr. Scott Brown, Dr. Sam Jurek, and John Testament of the Bad to the Bone race team. Also, a very special thanks to Lake Flight Marine, Sonic Boats, and the Mercury High Performance Group for all of their help in making the Bad to the Bone, What a Fillin' race team a successful team. Right there, that was Patriot going by on the inside of Bad to the Bone, What a Fillin' race team. But we really got a good run going here with this crew. Dr. Scott Brown, Dr. Sam Jurek, and John Testament are really putting on a show here in Bad to the Bone, What a Fillin' race team. We've got the chiropractor chasing the eye doctor. The Bad to the Bone, What a Fillin' race team. Dr. Jurek's wife is flying with us in the freeze-frame videocopter, getting a real good view of her husband out here in the open seas. The Bad to the Bone race team. Coming under the copter, we're now going to pick up A22 US1 Special Race Team. This all-red 27-foot Century is powered by two Mercruiser inboard motors with two Mercruiser outdrives. This boat is sponsored by US1 Industrial Air Conditioning Corporation. This is their first year on the circuit. The boat is owned by US1 Industrial, and driving today is Steve Abels, and on throttles, it's Steven Desjardins. This group is looking for sponsorship for 1993. So get on board and get involved with a good race team and get some exposure out here, because the APBA as well as US Offshore visit so many race sites that you will certainly get your money's worth working with US1 Special. This boat is maintained by Speed and Sport Marine in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. They'd like to thank their crew members also: Rhett Abels, Eli Auzulay, Steve Abels Jr., and Greg Bradshaw for all the help that they've done in making the US1 a successful race team throughout '92 and starting to prepare for the '93 season, provided they get the sponsorship necessary to run a successful campaign here in offshore powerboat racing. Well, right now we're at the closing stages of the first leg of this race here on Thursday. We're going to stay with this boat as he starts taking it to the start-finish line. In the meantime, some of the classes have already finished. They're too close to call right now, but we're in the process of compiling the final results, and we're going to take US1 Special to the start-finish line, and in just moments, we'll be bringing you the final results of the first leg of the Budweiser Key West World Championship for 1992 from Key West, Florida. As we take US1 Special to the start-finish line, we are able to bring you some of the final results of this race. In the Super Stock class, the Gazelles in Great Adventure took first place, followed by How Sweet It Is in second place, and Whiplash took third.